Okay. Good morning, everyone. Happy to have you all today this morning. So we're going to be looking at Module 7. That will be storage. So let's dive in. So the first thing, one of the things that we're going to do throughout this module, you should be able to compare AWS storage services, understand what the simple storage service is, understand what Amazon Elastic Block Stock is, and understand what Amazon Shared File Storage is. There we have Amazon EFS and Amazon FXSX. So just basically in traditional data centers, there are two kinds of storage. We have the block and file storage. So block storage is used to store data files on storage area networks, also known as SAN, or cloud-based storage environment. And this is excellent for computing situations. This in case you need fast, efficient, and reliable data transportation. As for file storage, it's stored on local systems, servers, or network file systems. So basically in AWS, you have three types of storage options: object storage, block storage, and shared file storage. We're going to dive into each of these. Block storage will first of all have an overview of what that means, and later we are going to go into the individual AWS services that falls under these types of storage options. Bear with me. As for questions, at some point I'm going to stop and give room for some few questions before continuing. But in case if I reach a slide and you have a question and you're afraid that you'll forget it, just put it on the chat. We have instructors present, so they'll surely willing to help you there. Or later on when I'm taking questions, I'll look at the questions in the chat. Just a hint there. Okay, so let's continue. We'll start with object storage. So basically, the data files is broken into pieces called objects, as you can see on the diagram beside here. So this stores objects in a single place that can be used by multiple systems that have access to the network, that have network access to storage. And each of these objects have metadata or information about the data to make it easy to find when needed. So object storage is designed for unstructured data such as media, documents, logs, backups, application binaries, and VM images. So you cannot use object storage to put computing systems. An example of this storage option in AWS is Amazon Simple Storage Service, also known as Amazon S3. So as for block storage, so data is placed into blocks and then stored, and then these blocks of data are stored as separate pieces. As you can see here, this can be block 0, block 1, block 19. So block devices are usually exported over fiber channel. It's important to know that multiple clients will not generally mount the same block volume. In the contrast to object storage, block storage is used by most operating systems for booting. So shared file storage. So it's used for systems operating system and network file systems. An example is NTFS-based volumes for Windows systems and NFS volumes for Linux or Unix systems. So These volumes can be mounted and directly accessed by numerous computing resources. And simultaneously, very important to note there. So mark that there are two most popular shared file system protocols we use today. We have NFS and SMB/CIFS. It's not at the moment just knowing high level overview of these protocols is just enough. With just knowing that, okay, file storage use this type of protocols. But as I said, when we go to the specific file storage services in AWS, we'll see more about these protocols. Not really in details, but kind of high level overview. Now, this kind of a summary of the storage, of the storage data types at AWS. So with this persistent data storage, basically data is persistent and durable, and services involved, you have S3, S3 Glacier, EPS, EFS, and FSX. These services will be looking at it throughout this model. For transit, the data that's practically data that is temporarily stored before it's passed on to another process. You have SQS, SNS, and Elastic Cache. For Elastic Cache, you look at it in the database model. For ephemeral data storage, basically the data records are lost when the system is lost or when you restart the system. An example of such type of storage in AWS is EC2 instance storage for Elastic Cache Redis. So let's look into Amazon Simple Storage Service or Amazon S3. So some of the characteristics is an object storage. It's secure, durable, and scalable. You only pay for the storage you use. That is, if you use 1 GB, you only pay for 1 GB, no more. So you can upload an unlimited amount of data. It's also designed for 99.999, basically 99% durability. A moment, please. Okay, sorry for that. Can anyone hear me now? Yes. Okay.
Yes, you.
Nice. So saying S3 is designed for 99.999% durabilities, and as I said, actually there are 9 nines. And it's designed for at least 99.5% availability. Yeah, that changes we are going to look at S3 storage classes. So this availability changes with respect to the storage classes. So it's a cost-efficient, it has cost-efficient storage classes. And as I said, we're going to look into these storage classes. So each object contains a key, which is basically the name of the file, the value, which is the data or the content, basically the content. For example, a picture, if you upload a picture, the value with the picture, that's data, and the name and the key is the name of the picture. For example, it is a flower. If the picture is the flower, and that's name, so that's the key. He has a version ID, he has metadata, and he has access control list. So in S3, you can upload up to a maximum of 5 petabytes for a single object. But okay, you can store an unlimited amount of objects. Each object has a unique key, and the key must be unique within each bucket. So if uploading object that's greater than 5 GB, it's important to use multi-path. I think for buckets, no, okay. I don't know, let's first look at metadata. So metadata simply describes the data or picture, if that there's a picture. So you have the system metadata, and it's comprised of the AWS date, size, and context type. That means the date in which your object was uploaded. User data involves the tag specified at the time the object is created. So let's go to buckets. So S3 buckets, it contains objects that are stored in S3. So basically, all the objects you upload, because you first of all create a bucket, and when you create a bucket, you have objects in which you upload in your bucket. Now, for example, you can have an object named Wirfon. So there's a picture that you decide to upload, and it's stored in a bucket called example. Let's say in the Frankfurt region. Then the addressable URL for it is going to be this. So you have HTTPS, a protocol. Now AWS, then you have example. Okay, it's supposed to just be example because the bucket name is example. So I think I renamed it later on. But the bucket name is example bucket 1 and .s3 .us west 2 in case if we are uploading that object in this region, and that's the bucket name. So to make it more visible, let me go to this console and I show you. Oh, so here it's already a bucket I created WirfonCloud 2022 storage in the Frankfurt region. So I can go here, and here I've uploaded the picture, which is coffee.jpg. And okay, that's the URL in which you can access the picture, but it's not yet, the right permissions are not yet given, so I can't click on it if I want to look at it in the website. But no, but this is what I'm looking for here, S3 URL. So if I copy this, yeah, so that's basically what you see, the name of the object, the region, as I said, the name of the bucket, then okay, object S3. So, and it's very important that your buckets must have a globally unique name that's across all regions and all accounts. An example, let me just do something so you can see. So if I want to create a bucket and I try to give the name WirfonCloud. Seems that name hasn't been given. used. Okay, let me use a simple one that I'm sure it has been given. Test has been used. So you see the bucket name already exists. So it may be another AWS account, maybe in another region or the same region, this bucket name has already been used. And also, you're not supposed to give bucket names with a capital letter. It should not contain any capital letter. Yeah, any uppercase. Bucket name must not contain uppercase characters. So there are some few rules for bucket naming. I think there in the console you can have access to the rules. Okay. So there's no charge for data that's transferred between an EC2 and an S3 in the same region. Data transfer into S3 is free of charge. So when I just upload a picture in my S3 bucket, yeah, I don't pay anything. A data retrieval charge, but it's a data retrieval charge per storage class. And for files larger than 5 GB, you must use multi-path upload API. So for durability, yeah, it's the objects or the data you upload is stored in multiple devices in multiple facilities within a region. So it's designed to sustain the concurrent loss of maybe two facilities without loss of data. So all this is done behind the scenes. And that's why it said S3 has 99.99% durability. So some use cases, you can use S3 for backup and archival for the organization's data. For static website hosting, you can use it for distribution of content, media, or software. S3 is also used with another content deliveries service, CloudFront, which you're going to look into that soon. It's also used in disaster recovery planning for big data analytics. So at this case, let me check the chat. Are there any questions here before we dive into the S3 storage classes? Or maybe a test. Can anyone hear me first? That's very important.
Yes,
Can I hear a big hello or hi?
Hello, we are there. Can you hear us, Nyuyyu?
Hello.
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Hi.
Okay, seems I can't hear anyone.
Hello.
A moment. I don't know if it's a problem with my connection.
No, we can hear you.
Or my
We can hear you.
a moment, that's poor. If I see some people are speaking, but I can't hear. Let me try to arrange that.
No, we can hear you now. Maybe that was earlier on.
Yeah, let me arrange that on my end. I can't hear anyone, but I'm sure you can hear me. Okay, yeah, but we can hear you. But I can't. Okay, let me try to arrange that a moment, please. Okay, I fixed that. I think now. I hope I can be. I hope I can hear. Can anyone speak now?
5 on 5.
Cool, nice. Sorry for the inconvenience, but was there a question? Did someone have a question and maybe I didn't hear?
There is a question on chat.
Can you throw more light on how retrieval storage and how we can be payable or charge? So retrieval storage, it's especially how we can be charged is based on the storage classes. So how quickly do you want, maybe when you upload your data in S3, how quickly do you want to always retrieve it? So it's dependent on the storage class. We are going to be looking at that in a moment. I hope that helps, Sally.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, cool. Okay, if there are no questions at this point, I'm going to continue with S3 storage classes. So basically, you can put them in these 4 categories. You have general purpose, infrequent access, unknown or changing access, and archive. So here's it for general purpose. You think of S3 standard. For infrequent access, you think of S3 standard infrequent access and S3 one zone infrequent access. For unknown or changing patterns, we have Amazon S3 intelligent tiering. And for archival, we have S3 Glacier and S3 Deep Glacier. So let's look into each of the storage classes. So S3 standards offers high durability, availability, and performance for the object storage. It's good for frequently accessed data, delivers low latency and high throughput. So basically, you can use it for cloud applications, static websites, content distribution, for mobile and gaming applications, for big data analytics, and most general purpose storage requirements. Now, coming to S3 standard infrequent access. So it's useful data that is less frequently accessed, but requires rapid access when needed. So in comparison to S3 standard, so with S3 infrequent access, you use the data, you access data less frequently. So it has same low latency and high throughput performance like that of S3 standard. It offers low gigabyte storage price and per gigabyte retrieval fee. Now, the use case, when do you want to use this storage class? You want to use it for low cost and high performance. Yeah, it's also ideal for long-term storage. You want to use it for backups as data is as a data store for disaster recovery files. So coming to one zone infrequent access. So S3 one zone infrequent access, or IA, is used for data that is accessed less frequently, but that requires rapid access when needed. Like with other storage classes like S3 standard, S3 infrequent access, data is stored in the minimum of 3 availability zones. But with S3 one zone infrequent access, data is stored only in a single availability zone, as the name says, one zone. So it costs 20% less than S3 standard IA. So when do you want to use one zone IA? For infrequent access, data that's infrequently accessed, but this data don't require the availability and the resilience like that of S3 standard or S3 standard IA. So you also use it for as a secondary backup, not primary backup of easy recreatable data. So if you have like very many copies of, for example, of a document, you store the other copies maybe in S3, let's say in another storage class, and now you just want, as just secondary backup, you want to store this picture. So that, because with one zone, let's remember that the data is stored only in one availability zone. So if this availability zone if there's a problem with this availability zone, you will not be able to access that data that you're stored in one zone, S3 one zone IA. So very important to note that it's for recreatable data and secondary backup copies. So it's cost effective. So its cost is cost efficient, as we saw in the previous slide, and the data is replicated from one AWS region using S3 cross-region replication. Now the next one, S3 intelligent sharing. So it's designed to optimize cost. Why? Because maybe you have data and you're not sure of the patterns in which this data is going to be retrieved. You're not sure how frequently accessed this data is going to be. So you don't want to put it in S3 standard, and later on you discover it's using a lot of money and you discover that, okay, you're not using it frequently. You don't want to put in S3 one zone and it now falls that, okay, you have to use it frequently. So S3 intelligent sharing is the ideal storage class for such a use case or such a scenario. So as it says here, it automatically moves data to the most cost-efficient tier or storage class without performance impact or operational overhead. So it works by storing objects in two access tiers. One tier that is optimized for frequent access data, and another low-cost tier that's optimized for infrequent access. So there's a monthly monitoring and automation fee per object that you have to pay when using intelligent sharing. Yeah, and S3 monitors the access patterns of the objects in S3 intelligent sharing and moves the ones that have not been accessed for 30 consecutive days to an infrequent access tier. So machine learning is what is being used by intelligent sharing behind the scenes. At this point, I take questions in the chat, or you can shout out your questions.
Yeah, my question is about the S3 durability and S3 availability. Can I know what is the difference between the two?
So
yeah.
Okay, let's take for example what is easy to use. It will be okay now S3 one zone IA. So we have heard that it's stored only in one availability zone. So that means if data is being lost, that means if that availability zone is down, you have no access to that data. Maybe you lost that data. So data with S3 one zone infrequent access is not highly available as in the ones in S3 standard, in which your data is stored in maximum of 3 availability zones, for example. So that's when we have availability. Maybe while speaking, I go through this nice table a moment. So in this table, we'll see also the percentage. Okay, now that's it. So for one zone, you can speak with for availability, you see it's 99.95. Of course, because it's only on one zone. And the other one, you have 99.9, 99.1, and for standard, you have the highest availability. Now, for durability is kind of the ability for a system to withstand maybe damage, kind of, or able to last, is ability of a system to last for a longer amount of time. So that means maybe in, like I always hear, maybe in the next 5 years, wherever we should put your data on S3, especially maybe in standard, in the matter of how many years, maybe 10 years, 15 years, you still have your data still there. So the data is able to last for a longer amount of time. I don't know if that helps, or maybe if an instructor has
I think
that better perspective. Okay.
Thank you very much.
I can just add, Nyuyyu, for durability also, again, as you have stated, is longer because when you normally store file on a computer system, even though it looks like you will always have access to it, but as years goes by, there's a possibility that you can start having errors. So, but with cloud computing, durability is given high. So even if you store a file and you come back, as you're saying, say after 15 years or so, you can still be able to access that data without a problem. Because with compute system, even data, as time goes on, with data sitting on the file, there's a possibility of it. Maybe you come to access it and it's giving some errors, or you having some data loss, which is completely different from high availability, as you've explained. I think that's just what I can add. I hope that helps. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Anyone else with any other questions so far?
Yeah, I wanted to just like a follow-up question. Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Yes. When you store your data for that 15 years in this standard S3, is it payable or it will just be there for you to consume?
It's payable. Yeah, you have to pay money because when you, as I said earlier, when storing data, you pay only for the amount of space that you use. So if that data is 15 gigabyte, you're going to pay only for that 15 gigabyte of data.
Okay.
I don't know if. Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, nice. I'll continue. The other questions you can put on the chat, or we answer at the end of this morning. Okay. Now we have S3 Glacier. So for S3 Glacier, use it for maybe, not maybe, sure. It's a secure, durable, and low-cost storage class for data archiving. So it provides 3 retrieval options that range from a few minutes to hours. Now you can upload objects directly to S3 Glacier or use S3 lifecycle policies to transfer data between any of the S3 storage classes for active data. So after that, we have this S3 Glacier Deep Archive. It's the lowest storage class. So it supports long-term retention and digital preservation for data that may be accessed only once or twice a year. So with S3 Glacier Deep Archive, provides 2 access options ranging from 12 to 48 hours. Okay, so it's particularly designed for customers like the financial services or financial industries, healthcare, and public sectors. Because, for example, you can have your healthcare records most of the time. Let's say some people, or the healthcare data is not your healthcare data is not the one that it will be accessed often. Maybe every day is going to be accessed, for example. No, that's not the case. Maybe once in a year, like in some countries, you have to go for regular checkup once in a year. So you can have your data, and once in a year when you come, your data can be accessed. And with S3 Deep Archive, you can store data for up to like 7 to 10 years. I think that's going to come up at some point. So S3 Glacier Deep Archive can also be used for backup and disaster recovery. And that's it. I think I can go to that nice table as I had earlier, where you can have the S3 Deep Archive. So you have the retrieval, that's 180 days, and the charges, it really depends, because for each of them you have per gigabyte. You pay per gigabyte. Retrieval option is per gigabyte. I think we can look at the table at the end, so I don't take time analyzing, but I just wanted to bring that you can have the storage classes here, the table, the availability. I can pull it by the side. Durability, availability, minimum capacity charge per object, retrieval charge. Some of them it will be, most of them are per gigabyte. And of course, the storage type, all of them are object storage. Okay. So S3 on Outpost. So for Amazon S3 on Outpost, it delivers object storage to your on-premises AWS Outpost environment. It helps meet the local data processing and data residency needs. So with S3 Outpost, it extends the AWS infrastructure, services, and tools to literally any on-premises facility, like a data center, for a truly consistent and hybrid experience. So later on, we have this object lifecycle rules. So this rules basically defines an action for S3 to apply a selected group or stored objects. So you have 2 types of these rules. You have the transition actions and the expiration actions. So transition actions define when objects will transition to other storage classes. and expiration actions defined when objects would expire or kind of be deleted. So you can have an object and you know that, okay, after a year, you're not going to use that data. Or let's go back to the example of your data in the healthcare system. Per law, I know there are some regulations that after 7 years, the data for the patient is supposed to be deleted. So you can have this life cycle rule on this object that says, okay, after 7 years, you delete all these objects. Now, any questions at this point? Or let me check the chat for object storage or what we have done so far. Okay, please can you explain what you mean by limited access required by persons when you... Okay, it's I see a question from Ballon Leslie. Please can you explain more on what you mean by limited access that requires rapid access when used? So this is typically like for example, let's say you have some documents. You have some documents uploaded in S3. Let's say we put it on S3 infrequent access. Why? Because you don't use it often. Like in contrast to on S3 standards, maybe in S3 infrequent access, you use it maybe once a month or twice in 3 months. So you don't use it often. But when you want to access the document, you want to have it as fast as possible. You want to have it very fast. So with S3 standard, when you upload an object, like I showed the demo in which I uploaded a picture of coffee and a picture of coffee, yeah. And when I want to access it with S3 standard, I can access it immediately. So within a click. But with other storage options, like for example, we saw Deep Archive, we saw Glacier, that takes like 8 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours in order to access the data. I don't know if that helps, Leslie. Okay, cool, you're welcome. At this point, any questions? If not, I move on to block storage. So some basic definitions, especially you would hear this a lot when we're going to speaking about block storage services in AWS. IOPS, yeah, it's basically input, output operations per second, which is, yeah, read and write, input, read, output, write. Block size, yeah, size of a single IO to and from the host is measured in KB. Global, and later on we have throughput, is the amount of data going in and out of a storage. And we have also response time, the time it takes for a server to get the data or an acknowledgement from the storage. So the first block storage we will look is instance store. Important to note that it's a temporary block level storage for your instance. So located on the disk that are physically attached to the host computer. It's best used for storage for information that changes frequently, such as buffers, caches, crash data, and other temporary content. Because as mentioned, it's a temporary block storage service. It's also known as ephemeral. So you can also use it for data that is replicated across a fleet of instances, such as a load balance pool of web servers. So with the EC2 instance store, the data is being lost when you lose the data when the instance is stopped. And it's also deleted upon EC2 termination. So moving up with Elastic Block Store, also known as EBS volume. So Amazon EBS is a network attached block level storage for Amazon EC2 instances. It allows you to create storage volumes and attach them to an Amazon EC2 instance. So data would persist even through shutdown or EC2 termination. So you still have. Very important to note this often as zonal services. So EBS is a zonal service. EBS volumes are zonal. Yeah, and the volume size is from, yeah, I think that is gigabyte. Yeah, to 1 TB byte to 16 TB bytes. So now we have, yeah, with EBS, it can be mounted to one instance at a time, only one instance at a time. You can monitor it with the help of Amazon Cloud Watch. Yeah, with the help of snapshots, you could increase the durability of the data. It's also integrated with IAM and supports encryption at rest. So all EBS volumes types offer a durable snapshot capabilities. And it's designed for 99.999 availability. Okay, we have 4 types of EBS volumes: EBS provision IOPS, EBS general purpose SSD, EBS throughput optimized HDD, and EBS code HDD. So let's look into each of these EBS volumes. For provision IOPS, is the highest performance SSD storage available in the AWS platform. So it's optimal for applications that require high disk input and output performance. It's designed for databases or other applications requiring low latency. For EBS general purpose SSD, it is an SSD-based storage solution. It provides a good balance between price and performance. It's also an excellent platform for boot volume, as it has good performance and does not get a raise upon EC2 instance shutdown. It's great for dev and test environments that require low latency. According to the next EBS volume, you have EBS throughput optimized HDD. So it's a low-cost magnetic storage designed for frequently accessed workloads. And it supports a significant throughput for up to 500 megabytes per second, but with high latency than with the EBS volume SSD or SSD-based volumes. So it's designed for situations in which you have you require a low-cost option to store substantial data, and it works well with applications that have sequential read and writes to the disk. Now, last but not the least, we have EBS code HDD. So it's the lowest cost option for EBS volumes, works it's used for workloads that do not require frequent disk access but still need a reliable storage platform. At this point, the questions, let me check the chat. Okay, I see that in relationship to S3, or pause that at the moment and ask at the end of this at the end of the class when I finish with the slides. But at the moment, are there any questions on EPS? Okay. Silence means no questions. Okay, with EPS snapshots. So these are a point in time copy of your data. So it's recommended that when it's recommended that you detach a volume to do a snapshot, but this is not necessary. It's kind of, yeah, secondary recommendation. You can copy snapshots across an AZ or region. And these snapshots can be used also to create another EPS volume. Yeah, it can also be used to enable disaster recovery, migrate data across regions and accounts, and also improve backup compliance. Yeah, for backup, you can have an EPS volume, create a snapshot, you have that for backup, and maybe later on, if maybe something is wrong with that EPS volume, you can restore that EPS volume with the help of the snapshot you created. Okay, now shared file storage. So here we have EFS, Elastic File System. So this provides a simple, scalable, and fully managed Elastic NFS file system for use with AWS cloud services and on-premises resources. So note here that this is a hybrid service kind of. So this is a regional service. Quick recap, EBS, we saw that that's a zonal service. So it stores data within and across multiple availability zones for high availability and durability. So with Elastic File System, Amazon EC2 instances can access your file system across availability zones, regions, and VPCs, while on-premise servers can access using AWS Direct Connect or AWS VPN. These two services, you're going to look at it when you're covering the networking, which will be presented by, I think, Gio. So provides a file system storage for Linux EC2 instances in multi-AZ. This is important to note. So for Linux EC2 instances. So yeah, if you want to read more, there's a link here to read on more on EFS. Now, Amazon FSx for Windows. So yeah, some organizations use a lot of use the Linux platforms for most of the time critical services. So the organizations that need native Windows file servers can use Amazon FSx. So this is hosted on Microsoft Windows file servers. And yeah, FSX is a Windows server and therefore supports Windows or Microsoft features such as storage quotas or Active Directory integration. Yeah, as mentioned, it's a Windows server. Yeah, there's a repetition. Supports Microsoft features such as storage quotas or Active Directory integration, and it uses the server message block SMB protocol. So the protocol for this service, yeah, that's also something worth taking note of. The protocol used for Amazon FSX for Windows. So this storage option is accessible from Windows, Linux, Mac OS compute instances, and devices running on AWS or on premises. So it's also a hybrid, kind of a hybrid service. There's also a link here in case if you want to get more questions. So yeah, we should give you more information on this service. Yeah, so basically these are the advantages for these two shared storage file options. So you have elastic, it's elastic, scalable, durable and available, and it's fully managed by AWS. Now, at this point, any questions for Amazon Storage Gateway? Oh, for EFS and FSX. Go on chat. I see them. Okay, questions have been answered. Thank you, Uncle. Okay, Amazon Storage Gateway. So this also a service that can be used in case if you have a hybrid kind of architecture. So it gives you both on-premises access to, it gives you on-premises access to virtually unlimited cloud storage. So customers that use Storage Gateway, customers use this Storage Gateway to integrate AWS Cloud Storage with existing on-site workloads so that they can simplify storage management and reduce costs for their key hybrid cloud storage use cases. So you can use this in case you're moving backups to the cloud. Yeah, you have your data or solution on premises and you want to move, you have backups that you want to save in the cloud. So with this Storage Gateway uses on-premises file shares backed by cloud storage. It provides low latency access to data in AWS for on-premises applications. Yeah, so this kind of it for Storage Gateway. I think if we go to the we're going to see that was a screenshot from here in which you see the use cases for AWS Storage Gateway and File Gateway. Yeah, so this kind of explains the use cases or how Storage Gateway can be used with other AWS services. And as I said, okay, use it for the, you can, for example, if you have data or whatever in your on-premise solutions and you want to keep the backups in the cloud, maybe in an S3 bucket, for example, Yeah, and also you look at the storage classes, maybe that backup, okay, you want to keep it's less frequently used, maybe once or twice in a year. They think of S3 Glacier. So that's it for storage gateway. Yeah. At this point, are there any questions of in relationship to the whole module or what we have covered so far? Or maybe comments? I hope no one is speaking and I can't hear. Okay. Good question. What does the X on FSX stands for? To be frank with you, I'm not sure of that. But if anyone knows in the chat, please. If anyone in this session has an idea, then check. Feel free to shout out the answer or help us here. Or I could still Google. If not, any other questions?
Yeah, just a comment on that. Yeah, that Amazon FSX for Windows file system. Just to say that I don't think I've ever seen that explain what the X there will stand for, but I'm sure it's just a distinction because you already have Amazon EFS, which is just for Linux system, and then maybe that FSS, maybe the X was just like kind of a distinction. So I'm not sure throughout we have seen any specific reason why the X is there, but maybe it's just a distinction. We know we have EFS, and then maybe an FS is mostly standing for file systems, right? But this one is maybe just particular, this one is just being pushed for Windows file system, and maybe that X was just to bring to a distinction to most of the file systems we have. That is the only thing that can come to my mind, but yeah, as Lady N mentioned, we'll try to see if we can Google and see if there's any specific reference. But what I can say is each time you see FSX, and X is always written in small letter. Just know that we are talking about, if it's going to go for Windows file system, and you have EFS is going for Linux file system, and FS in general is file system. That's just what I can add here.
Okay, thank you. In case of no questions, I would go through my own questions to see if I was just speaking alone. It's the first one. You have a fleet of on-premises servers that require a centralized, scalable, and durable file storage. It should also be able to support massive parallel access. Which of the following is most appropriate service to use? Please, something in chat. Okay, Divine gives the you can also shout out the answer on written. Okay, I see also from Yembe, Larry. Okay. 3 to go. We're 17 of us. What about the other 14? Okay, most people say B. Why? Because I would have chosen another answer. Okay, that was just a trick then. It's indeed B. Amazon Elastic File System, or Amazon EFS, provides a simple, scalable, fully managed Elastic NFS file system, which you use with AWS cloud services and on-premises resources. I think the key word there is that Amazon EFS is designed to provide massive parallel shared access to thousands of Amazon EC2 instances. So with the mention, it should be able to support massive parallel access. That's a keyword. And you want a durable file storage. So reason why B is the correct answer. Next question. Okay, you have a large number of log files that will be archived in AWS for a long time and should have a retrieval time of 12 hours or less. Which service is the most cost-effective storage class for this purpose? A, Amazon S3 Glacier Deep Archive. B, Amazon S3 Standard AI. C, Amazon S3 Glacier. D, Amazon EBS Code HDD. So I see Yembe, Leslie, they're giving me an A, Alvin as well. I see Jules as well. Okay. Anyone else? What about the others? Maureen? Okay, let's see. Are they right? The answer is C. I think the most important here is to see is this retrieval time of 12 hours. That's what is important. For each of these storage classes, what distinguishes Glacier Deep Archive and Glacier is the retrieval time. Oh. Okay. Now for the next question, anyone wants to read? Just be sure I'm not having a monologue. Okay. Okay, you're planning to create a point-in-time backup of your Amazon EBS volumes. Which of the following are correct statements? Select two. You can create point-in-time backups through EBS snapshots. B, fault tolerance. C, backing up the same EBS volume will create a new backup for the whole volume. D, instances will have to be stopped first to start the EBS backups. E, EBS backups are stored durably in Amazon S3. Okay, see Alvin, Yembe. Okay. Ballon, Leslie. I see E is at least winning. There's only a difference in the first option. Let me give time to think a little bit. So most people are thinking you can create point time backup to EBS snapshots. Then I see instances will have to be stopped first to start the EBS backup, and EBS backups are stored durably in Amazon S3. So let's see that. So actually it's A and E. You can create point time backups to EBS snapshots, of course. Then later on, D, with D, the problem with D is that it's recommended. No, instances will be stopped first to start the EBS backup. No, but that's not the case. You don't need to stop the instances, but first of all, the option, it's a little bit wrong because you want to create point in time backups. And to create point in time backups, you create the snapshot, not EBS backup. And yeah, EBS backups are stored durably in Amazon S3. Yeah. Yeah, this is still this is explained here again. Each snapshot contains all information that is needed to restore your data to a new EBS volume. So restore your data from the moment the snapshot was taken. Now the next question on EBS volumes. Which AWS storage service offers faster disk write and read performance and provides temporary block level storage for your instance? A, instance store. B, EBS throughput optimized HTT. C, EFS, and D, EBS provision IOPS. Okay, only Divine.
Just encouraging everyone to participate. There are about 16 people, yeah, say 13 that can give possible answers. There's nothing wrong getting it wrong, but it only helps you better, yeah. So participate by sharing answers on chat, not the same people as I see. Try something.
Yeah, that's right. I would love to have more people. Okay, I see more people are answering. Soli, Yembe, Ballon, all going for instance store. Okay, what is special? Nice. Cool, more people. So indeed, it's instance store. The key point here is you want faster disk write performance, and here it's temporary block level storage. So here, if you want temporary or ephemeral block level storage, you think of instance store. Getting myself this. Okay. Now the next question. Which of the following should you use to automatically transfer your infrequent access data in your S3 bucket to a more cost-effective storage class? So A, S3 access control list. B, cross-region replication. C, lifecycle policy. And D, cross-origin resource sharing. Okay, I see lifecycle policy. C, someone is choosing that. Someone has, oh God. Okay, only 1%. Okay, seems to be a difficult one. Okay, think I can take it from here. We have S3 access control list, and the answer is life cycle policies. Yeah, these are actually these rules that you use in order to change or move your objects from one storage class to another. That's when you know the pattern in which your data is going to be accessed. Let's say you're sure that for the first month you're going to be using your data very frequently, and in the next 3 months you're sure that okay, yeah, it's going to be used less frequently, but you also want to access it. You also want access to it as rapid as fast as possible when you need it. Maybe now move to S3 infrequent access. So life cycle policies are what you use here. For the other ones, yeah, at the moment we haven't gone through these other ones apart from the S3 access control list. But in this case, with the scenario, life cycle policy is the best here. I see, what's the time? I see it's almost time. It's almost top of the hour. I want to give this opportunity in case there are any questions or worries or something you want that it should be cleared again, or generally a comment. Maybe if it was too fast, or if you love more understanding on the specific topic, or more you would love that more light should be thrown on a specific topic that was covered today. As you all know, you can still unmute and speak.
I just want to, someone says need explanation about gateway, but I just want to, okay, you can answer Joe's questions in your own chat, but before, regarding feedback, please, I really encourage you to complete the survey regarding this model and state what you feel about it. It will always help us improving. I've shared the survey on the Zoom chat as well as our main Telegram group. It will take you just 2 minutes. Yeah, so yeah, I see there are some other questions. Just take a look at that.
Okay, so I hope I'm not on mute. Okay. Okay, when you take a snapshot, then the data is added. Does it add on the original copy or both? When you take a snapshot, then the data is added. Does it add to the original copy or on both? I don't really understand it very well. Sally, can you unmute and speak?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, what I'm asking is that because when you take a snapshot, you're taking a snapshot of your data, right? Of the information you have.
Yeah.
Yes. Then when you more information, does it apply on the snapshot or on the original copy? That's what I want to know, because you might take a snapshot and later on data is on your, I don't know, on your service, or yeah, I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think I get it now. Okay, so
Okay.
we actually when you take a snapshot, it takes kind of, it's like the copy, or is the copy of the data in that EBS volume at that time. That's why they call it like a point in time backup. That's why snapshot is defined as such. So later on, if you change something later on in your EBS volume, or you do more things, I think that way you need to have another snapshot, because as the definition goes, it's a point in time copy or backup of your EBS volume.
Okay, I think I get the point now. Okay, it's clear. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, I see another question with a bit more explanation about storage gateway. I see gateway, but I guess you mean storage gateway. Yeah, so firstly, it's hybrid cloud services. So it's in kind of way that, okay, if you have your on-premises solution and you need more, maybe you need
I
cloud
think
storage.
it's a good, the diagram you had really and helps, yeah, so that, yeah, on premises and cloud.
Okay, like, okay, you could have your data maybe in a file on premises, maybe in a file gateway on premises, so volume gateway, but it's not at this level, it's not important to have that in memory, whether it's file gateway or volume gateway. But generally, if you have your storage on premises and you want to, like the scenario was, you want to move maybe the backup in the cloud to the cloud, or have the backups in the cloud, you don't only want to have it on premises. So you're going to use Direct Connect for when moving the data. So with that, there's going to be encryption. The data is going to be encrypted, as more protected, secured. So you can use either Direct Connect or the internet to transfer this data with the help of storage gateway. So it has various endpoint options. You can, which is internet, VPC, and I don't know what that is. But later I can now use more storage options in the cloud. What we looked at was Amazon S3. Can now decide now to have that in S3. I don't know, that's, or maybe if in case if on premises it was a file storage, on premises, maybe if the data was in a file storage or file gateway option, and you want to maybe in the cloud, you store it maybe in an FSX or EFX, based on what you prefer. If it's object, you would want to store it in Amazon S3, as we learned. So
it's summary divine. So what has Lady N is explaining. So if you have data on premises, right, and then you need to move it to the cloud. So the storage gateway is the service that you will go to, basically. So it sits from the diagram, as you see, as shown, it sits in the in between. And then you always need a connection between your on-premises to the cloud. And yeah, you cover that in the networking. So you have a kind of connection there. So the gateway is, as the name says, right, it's acting as a gateway. It sits between your on-premises, which is like your traditional data center, and the cloud. So yeah, and then it has all those different options that yeah, Lady N has covered, and you will come across some of them later. Yeah. So kind of just general, just like kind of you want to go away, just know that it's in between. Yeah. Yeah, I see he says understood. Yeah.
Cool. Nice. Glad to hear. Before we sign out, there's still a few more questions. I think there are 2 more questions, question 6 and 7. So you can take that as assignment and do it, because for time constraints, I wanted to instead answer questions. And from tomorrow, you will be looking at databases. So it is a video here with the AWS Power Arm. You can watch the video on relational database, DynamoDB for preparation for tomorrow. And yeah, if you want also a recap or hear from another perspective from storage, you can use this Power Arm. And there's also something that there's also a lab in which you can practice or what we have just learned about. So this in a quick labs, you need to create, and yeah, we are going to have a lab session on this. So we are going to do it together on a Friday at some point. For the date, I'm not yet sure, but you can first of all you can do it on your own. It's completely for free when you sign in this platform or create an application or create, an account in this platform, Quick Labs. To be able to do this, you have access to AWS console. You're able to create a bucket, upload an object, make an object public, test connectivity, create a bucket policy, explore versioning. So I recommend that you all look into this. I'm going to share it in the chat, both in Telegram and here. So you can look at that. Yeah, that's basically all for today. I see there's a question: how do we have notes on this module and other modules if possible? In the chat we shared in the Telegram chat, we have we always at the end of each session we share the notes to the session, so you can check the Telegram chat for that. I would also share this one with you all as well.
And yeah, just to add, Sally, I think I was, now that you've asked that question, especially that we have new members who have all the PDF files that we have shared so far. I know if you scroll through the Telegram chat, you see all of them, but we'll have all of them in one Google Drive and share so that for especially new people coming in, they can just easily go to the Google Drive and see all the notes. But you can find them, as the end mentioned, if you scroll through the material, which I know can be a bit tiresome, but we'll try to organize and have that in one place so that you can have access to all the notes. And then I hope you know where to find all the recorded sessions. The playlist is also out there available, was shared, I think, in the update for when new members join. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, so that's it. Remember to fill in the survey. That's really very, very important. It's really to note where do we need to make more changes, or where do we need to make things better, or in case if there's something that someone mentioned that needs to be repeated, maybe at some point we create a session for that. So yeah, thank you all for joining today, and thanks also for the support. And wish you all a good night or a nice day. Night.
Great. Thank you, everyone.